And so, the government can say whatever they want about this thing not competing. It's for black market only. It's for this, for that. But they're really treating it like a threat. And one of the things that can't be attacked is your self-custody Bitcoin. And one of the things that can be attacked is the ETF. You can't be exposed to that. That's my view. It's not a good idea. And by the way, that'll hit MSTR too. It'll probably hit other stuff as well.
Friends and enemies, welcome back. Canadian Bitcoiners podcast.
Friends and enemies, welcome to the CBP. Wanna be better informed? Listen to Len and Joey. Sponsors taken care of right off the top. Bull, Bitcoin, and easy DNS. The media is feeding the slop. It doesn't matter what topics discussed. Quality entertainment and information you can trust.
That's being planned or at least discussed. We're not going to allow
quality
people to buy
entertainment and information you can trust. Send the guy some value, boost them with some stats. Bitcoin is a scarcity asset, it's just a fact. Geopolitical, national, down to the local clown.
Friends and enemies, welcome to yet another edition of the mighty CBP, the Canadian Bitcoiners podcast. And it should be the Canadian Bitcoiner podcast today because I'm Len. I'm doing this one solo dolo. Joey is in Washington, I believe, watching the former Redskins, current Commanders, or whatever they're called these days, play Monday Night Football against, I don't know. I really don't care. Either way, I hope Joey's having a wonderful time. I hope you are having a wonderful time on this Canadian Thanksgiving Day. And this is going to be kind of an abbreviated episode because doing this alone, nobody wants to hear me talk. So I'm going to try getting in and out as fast as possible. One stroke, done. All right. Let's talk about these sponsors. Now, I did say I'm going to be doing this one alone. But still, with the magic of the internet, I'm going to pipe in Joey to help me do the sponsors. At least we'll do the first one. Joey?
DNS, the best place for you to host your content. Buy a domain, port a domain, anything to do with domains. Mark's got your back. We like Mark. He's been a friend of the show for a long time, friend of ours as well. And him and I will be doing a couple of different, chats at the conference. We'll be on stage for it together. One is just the two of us about Bill C2, the wolf in sheep's clothing, I think the talk is called. Not pulling any punches there. Anyways, if you're a Bitcoiner, lots of stuff for you over at EasyDNS on the virtual private server side. You can run a Bitcoin node, Nostr relay, set up a BTC Pay server implementation for your shop. Don't use Shopify, that's for sure. He can take care of all that for you. For a couple extra bucks, you get domain share and EasyMail, which honestly, if you're doing anything related to a business or hosting client info, or you have an email list or whatever, you want to protect those things. And these days, a lot of people are gunning for that information. It's sold on the dark web. It's used nefariously. And you can imagine all the things that could go wrong if you lose your client list or client database. So Mark can take care of you there too. All you got to do is go to easydns.com, put in the promo code CBP Media, and you get 50% off your first round of buys. Can't beat it.
Thanks, Joey. You like how I did that? Anyways, before I do the second sponsor, Boomer is saying that he's missing the Jays game. I had no idea they're playing. I think it's game 2. Game 1, they got absolutely slaughtered from what I understand. They're playing the Seattle Mariners. I don't know. I'm just picking this up as I go along. I haven't watched baseball in quite a while. I used to be a big Jays fan back in the day. Either way, let's talk about the second sponsor, Bull Bitcoin. Non-custodial, this is what you want in exchange. No leverage, this is what you want in exchange. We'll be talking about this more at length in just a little bit. But either way, Bull Bitcoin, great place to buy, great place to sell. You could do on-chain, you could do Lightning. So when the fees are starting to go up, you could use that as well. You can't facilitate a buy without providing a Bitcoin address, right? Think about other exchanges where you make a buy, they hold on to it. Do you really make the buy? Do they really have it for you? Now with Bull Bitcoin, you got to provide an address in order to do it. Also, if you want to send people money, say they didn't want to take Bitcoin, they want to take Canadian dollars, well, you could use Bull Bitcoin to facilitate that type of exchange. You could have the money sent, the Bitcoin sent to Bull Bitcoin, and they will e-transfer your buddy the Canadian dollars. So just a way to pay somebody with Bitcoin using Bull Bitcoin. You can also pay bills with Bull Bitcoin if you want to do that. The price of Bitcoin is pretty high, so you might as well spend it. So lots of different options if you're in Canada, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Mexico, Western Europe, Argentina. Are they in Argentina? Either way. Yeah, they are in Argentina. Check them out. Use our code below. Sign up. And if you do that, a little bit will be taken off your account every time you buy. Like, it's not going to be the same type of spread as you would if you didn't use our promo code. Check them out and use them. That's what I suggest. That's where I do my buys. And third sponsor, Again, I'm going to just pipe in Joey for this one again with the magic of the internet is the Canadian Bitcoin Conference. Joey, take it away.
From the Bitcoin Conference 2025. I'm very excited. Talked to Daniel Carlin today on the phone. Talked to one other person whose name I won't reveal, but there's going to be a fun contest during the conference as well. Things are shaping up. Booked my flights today. We are ready to rock and roll. If you haven't bought a ticket yet, you ought to. And you can get a bunch of money off, not with our promo code. I don't know if Dan even wants me to share this, but I'm going to anyway. I think the promo code Meetup 2025 saves $45 off the ticket, off any ticket. I'm pretty sure any tier. So enjoy that.
Hope you enjoyed that. That's a sponsor for our show. So sponsors for our show. So I'm going to just go to the boosts. And we have 4 different boosts this week. And for people wondering what the heck this is, if you use Fountain, which is an application on your phone to listen to podcasts, you can send in a message to us and with Satoshis, and the 5 most largest sats donations are going to be read. So got 4 of them this week. Wartime, number 1, 133 sats. He writes in, Ray from Paxful was strong against KYC. I wouldn't trust this guy or a new company at all. Yeah, I know there was some issues with Ray and Paxful. They had some damning comments about Ray and the other co-founder. We didn't really get into it last week. So either way, Paxful users, they got, I don't say rugged, but they have to go find somewhere else to do their decentralized exchanges. Wartime, again, 133 sats. Thank you very much. And he does a couple of arms flexing. Jer, 500 sats. I mean, this is with respect to Joey interviewing Mark from Easy DNS. He writes in, great episode. Love hearing from Mark. Mark is an awesome listen to, like the guy to listen to. He's very knowledgeable, and the dude is really down to earth. He's just, I can't really say enough about him. Like if you meet him, he's just a regular guy, but he has so much knowledge, and he's an author of several books. Like, anyways, don't want to blow him too much. Last but not least, we have Trevor, 2100 sats. He says, as a student of Quadrica, I couldn't agree with you more, Len. Get off the exchanges. And yes, 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 thank you very much for everybody with the donations for this week. And you are 100% right. Don't use a custodial exchange, but if you are going to use a custodial exchange for whatever reason, take that Bitcoin off ASAP and put it on a device, on a wallet that has never, those keys have never been attached to the internet. Everything was done offline. You got to sleep well at night. You don't want to get rugged. There's so many different people out there trying to take your Bitcoin, and don't give them an opportunity. Do it right. If you need help, just reach out to me and I'll be happy to guide you in the proper direction. Now, as for the week at large, Joey obviously is at Washington, comes back, then he goes to the Canadian Bitcoin Conference, which takes place this week on October 16, 17, and 18, if I recall correctly. So if people are over there, you might as well go say hello to Joey. He's going to be very busy, but he's always very approachable. And Paulie, man, saying CBP is greater than sports ball. Good for you for taking time off, not watching the Jays and watching me do my spiel here solo. That's quite a commitment on your part. And that's it. So I don't think we're going to have an interview this week, and we'll be back at this, I think, next week at a full strength, full roster, no shorthanded. We'll be at we'll call it a power play, actually. Let's call it a power play. The Leafs are back in session, and so is the NHL. All right, let's go right into it. I got a few stories I want to bring up, some Bitcoin news. The biggest news this week, and by the way, people in the chat, feel free to comment because I'd love to engage you as much as possible. The biggest news this week was the Friday dump that near market close. Donald Trump came out and said he's going to be escalating a trade war with China. This happened Friday afternoon at 4:50 p.m. Eastern. That is when he released this information on Truth Social. The timing of this is very interesting. We could pick that apart. But what resulted from all this was Bitcoin took a bit of a dump with respect to the price. And I could hear people grumbling, a bit of a dump. Like, look, I know we went from 121K, 122K to 105K in a flash and like that. But yeah, if you look at it by percentage of a drop and considering where it settled at around the 110 mark, that's about a 10% drop. A 10% drop in Bitcoin isn't a lot if you have been in this game long enough. All that really did is create buying opportunities for people out there that want to stack more Bitcoin. A drop of 10%, though, was a huge problem for leveraged players out there. And I say this many times. You want to learn from other people's mistakes. Their lessons that they provide you, they're free. The only thing you have to do is invest time to learn about it. And if you do that and you understand how they fucked up and how you're not going to fuck up because you're not going to follow in their footsteps, you're going to be all right. Like, we could take, for example, one of these leverage players that got absolutely fucking smoked. This guy is named Shibashi Nakamoto. He's on Reddit, and he posted his story on the Bitcoin subreddit. Yeah, boomer, 100%. It was just a minor dump for Bitcoin. Shitcoins got absolutely thrashed. Fuck them. But back to this guy, Shibashi Nakamoto, on the Bitcoin subreddit. He started off by saying he was the type of person, the type of guy that would tell people to stay away from leverage and just do DCA, the dollar cost average, right? But this motherfucker didn't listen to his own advice, right? He says he's been stacking since 2020, back when Bitcoin is at the price of 4K. So he's been in this for a long time. He's seen the drastic up and downs of Bitcoin. Remember, it went to 69K or whatever the fuck it was in 2021. Then it dropped down. And in 2022, it went as low as 15K, and it ramped up now to like we're now 110. This guy's been through the ups and downs, right? So he was setting aside some of his money every paycheck to buy Bitcoin. This is what a good Bitcoiner should do, is if they have extra funding. Great. But he broke the fucking cardinal rule of you fuck around and you find out. This guy definitely found out what not to do. He couldn't make regular contributions to Bitcoin because expenses were going up. This is in the past little while. So he's like, oh shit, I can't make buys into Bitcoin. I got to do something. What did he do? He tried to make up the difference by using leverage trades. What happened? He lost it all. Everything is gone. Everything that he stacked away. The guy is now 36 years old, and as he put it, he says he has nothing but a car loan and a few pieces of furniture. That's it. His total net worth, he says, is roughly the salary he gets in 1 month. Why did he do this? All because of fucking greed. Learn from the mistakes of these people. Holding on to sats is what matters. Don't give up your keys. Don't do the leverage shit. It's just a 10% drop, as Boomer says over there. It's the price where we were just 2 fucking weeks ago, right? Like, if you can't buy because you don't have, don't find some other ways to stack. Unless you're going to do selling services or something, that's fine. But don't fuck with your Bitcoin. Because if you do, well, this guy, he fucked around and found out. And not only that, like, this guy lost it all. There were some shenanigans going on by exchanges. There was big volume going on. This was the only thing that people could really trade at that time. Markets were closing or closed. So people looked, oh, what the fuck could I do? Oh, let's move our Bitcoin. Let's move our shitcoins. Kraken, Coinbase, they were showing errors when people were trying to buy Bitcoin during this high volume environment. But there were some of those exchanges out there. They did weather the storm, and I'm going to name them. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is from what I gathered. River, Swan, Cash App, and the sponsor of our show, Bull Bitcoin, to name a few. So those ones, they remained open. Even through the high volume times, you could buy, you could sell, you could do whatever the fuck you want, because they didn't suffer the same problem that Kraken or Coinbase did. When Coinbase goes down, there's always something going on. There's always some fucking issue going on. Either way, got to give a little bit extra credit to Coinbase for this whole saga here, right? We had just last month, Coinbase decided for their international users, they would allow them up to do the 50x leverage trade compared to the previous 20x. So just last month, just the beginning of September, they decided, you know what, 20x wasn't good enough for us to provide you guys. No, we're going to give you 50x that you guys got fucking wrecked, right? Like, And like Boomer's saying, he's quoting Francis. He says, leverage isn't a shortcut to becoming an OG. It's right. You can't do any shortcut to becoming an OG. To become an OG, you got to have been there. There's nothing you could do. It's that time is gone. It's lost. It's done. The only thing you could do going forward is stack sats. Well, my personal opinion is to humbly stack sats, and that's it. Don't fuck around. You're gonna get wrecked in the end. Also, if you're going to be doing any shenanigans, like I mentioned, just stay the fuck away. If your exchange offers leverage trades, run the fuck away. And for anybody who thinks that maybe, just maybe, Trump may have made out like bandits or friends of Trump, I've been reading stories of massive shorts being placed just before this message went live from Trump. I read this and I read between the lines. It's a fucking joke. All I can say is buy your Bitcoin, secure it properly, fuck the rest because it's all noise. And what you could do, it's a 10% drop in the price. If you had Bitcoin, it's a 10% drop. That's all you suffered. I didn't bat an eye. I was laughing at this whole thing, watching all this shit go on, people suffering. And I'm laughing at their suffering because they did the wrong fucking thing. They should have learned. Hopefully this lesson here turned shitcoiners that got wrecked because their asset price went down far more than the price of Bitcoin did by percentage. Hopefully it turned them into Bitcoiners, but also people that were doing leverage trades. Hopefully it turned them into hardcore people that want to secure their own keys. Maybe not. Maybe they'll just keep doing the same thing and just try to leverage even more to try to get what they've lost. Who the fuck knows? Anyways, we got some wild times ahead because think about this. 10% drop in Bitcoin roughly created all this. Apparently this was the largest liquidations in quote unquote crypto history. And all it took was a 10% drop for the price of Bitcoin. We're in for some wild times ahead. Fuck the treasury companies, right? Like I think they're going to play a major factor in the future for a huge drawdown that we're going to experience in the next few years. I could be wrong, but I think that's going to happen. Fuck those exchanges that do the bullshit leverages. They're just out there to fuck you over in the end. And then if there comes a time when you're making bank, they'll force close you. I think that happened to that guy in Romania. I forget his fucking name. Either way, the best thing to do for you, and I keep reiterating, I just keep repeating it, is just buy fucking Bitcoin. And that's that. And so somebody got a hold, this is Boomer saying, somebody got a hold of Binance's or Coinbase's order book and a tactical attack on shitcoin holders. I'm wondering if this was somebody was doing anything like nefarious towards shitcoiners, or this is simply just a reaction to Trump's message. And it was just all these orders came through and AI that was doing these order bots and shit, they just triggered it and just created a cascade effect. And here we are. I don't know. It is what it is. And I hope you all learned a lesson from this and what to do and how to secure your Bitcoin. But either way, fuck them all. Another group of people you could tell to fuck off is Bitcoin Core. Why? Version 30 was just released this past weekend. And what does this mean? It means the possibility of building blocks with less transaction stuffed within it is now possible. And fucking hell, you got to think about Bitcoin is a peer-to-peer exchange of money, not fucking spam, JPEGs, trash. Like, people are wondering what the fuck I'm talking about. So in a nutshell, Bitcoin blocks, they have transactions in it, right? Where one Bitcoin is sent to another, or sats are sent to another with those UTXOs. Nothing is new here, but it's 4 megabytes in size. That's what we all agreed upon. This is the maximum size a Bitcoin block can be. And you can only stuff so much in a 4 meg block. And there's also something within there called upper turn and allows people to run scripts and do some creative things like even burn Bitcoin, shit like that. But some people have figured out how to abuse this scripting language to even shove pictures in it when looking at the inscriptions. And so, anyways, I guess I'm going to be very soft in this, a creative way, but still totally bullshit since it's all spam. But either way. The upper turn limit for Core used to be 83 bytes, not megabytes, not kilobytes, bytes, 83 bytes. The Atari 2600, if you go back to, this was released in 1977. This is fucking primitive stuff. It only had 128 bytes of memory. So the Opportune at 83 bytes had less memory than did the Atari 2600 back in the day. So we're talking 83 bytes out of 4 megabytes. Very small, very small. And now Bitcoin Core version 30, the default for the Opportune is 100,000 bytes. That's an increase of 1200x, give or take. A little bit more, actually. 100,000 bytes is 100 kilobytes or 0.1 megabyte. And that's going to be by default that you could store, you could use the Opportune in Bitcoin Core. Now, so the amount of bullshit that you can now directly store in Bitcoin increases a fuckload. Yeah, you could have used trickery in the past to store it, right? But it required manipulation of the Opportune. And now it's easier to do so. Why is this a problem? Well, you have to think of the worst image imaginable. And I don't want to say what it is. You could think what it is. You know what it is. Now this can potentially be stored with great ease on Bitcoin. You run a node, it's going to be there. Doesn't matter if you run knots. It doesn't matter how you fucking do it. If somebody builds a block with this bullshit in a block, it's there for everybody to store. So potentially opens the door to state attacks. It's easy to propagate, not easier to, but there's more opportunity that you get because the Opportune is much, much larger. There's a lot of NHL 94 that you could store in that. The propagation will happen from Bitcoin Core version 30. That's the only one that could do it. Every other one will not be able to. But if it gets built and put in a block, well, it is what it is. So this opens the door for state attacks, and it running a node potentially. I'm not saying for sure. Potentially, like you run a node, I run a node. There's one like fucking 2 feet from me. There's a risk now, right? Think of all the enemies that we have created with Bitcoin. Central banks, governments, countries, you name it, IMF. If they want to fuck over Bitcoiners now, they could do it and in a way and create this FUD. And now with Donald Trump apparently having a great deal of Bitcoin exposure that was being reported by a large Twitter account, this could potentially be an election issue moving forward. And who the fuck cares about Bitcoin in the mainstream? Nobody cares. Bitcoiners, we do. But they say that you could do the data carrier size equals 83 on your Bitcoin config, and that will be able to at least reduce it from 100,000 83 bytes. But this is going to be mothballed moving forward. So this data carrier size option is available now. Sometime in the future, unknown when, it's going to be gone. So what are the options? You gotta vote with your CPU. You've got to vote with your computer, your hardware. Run a version of Core that's not version 30. Run knots, right? Like do something that at least shows you're not happy with version 30. Other than that, I don't know what else you could do. You're kind of just forced. Maybe you could donate to other competing, I don't know. So what is he saying? Like if a government before 30. So he's saying, like, then if it was a government before Core 30, they could head with a gun to it, the miner, and then have him included. The relay policy doesn't affect it. It just run knots, tell Core they don't have it. Say that's the only thing you can do, right? Is relaying out a message saying you're running knots, you support their iteration of a Bitcoin node, the client, and go from there. Ultimately we need more options. I'm hopeful that there's going to be more. I know there's a few out there, but they're not mainstream compared to say Core and knots. I'd want to see more options out there. And they're saying if you do run it, like Arc Labs ecosystem, Alex Bergeron said on X, he intends to, quote, use all the additional Opportune space and will use it to make Bitcoin more like Ethereum, except better. Why would anybody want this to be more like Ethereum? Ethereum, you can't run your own node without having 32 ETH, I think it is. So it's very costly to run a node, unlike Bitcoin. What's the max supply? I don't know if there is one in ETH, but certainly there is in Bitcoin. So it's like, why would anybody want to have Bitcoin and try to steer it in a direction more like Ethereum? It's a peer-to-peer exchange of tokens, of money. That's what Bitcoin really is. Whatever. That's the way I look at it. Total fucking bullshit. Anybody out there running a node and running core, and you're thinking about upgrading to 30, do yourself a favor, read into it, and consider your actions moving forward. If you do run 30, you're signaling you want this, you're happy with the direction it's going, and you don't want to see any changes to what core developers are doing. You're happy with the direction they're going. Just do something else. Fuck them. Run knots. Run anything before 30. And also of note, if you're going to run Bitcoin Core before 30, keep a note there's a maintenance schedule. So right now, version 27 is the only one receiving, and sorry, 27 and newer. So 27, 28, 29, 30, I believe it is only receiving the maintenance, like all the security updates and all that bullshit. So if you are running an older one, you probably aren't going to get rugged, but just keep in mind that any security patches or anything that needed to be placed in it to fix it is not going to be done unless you do it yourself or you find a developer to do it on the side. So either way, older versions, they're not maintained. It is what it is. All right. Last story on the Bitcoin side of things. I told you this is going to be an abbreviated episode. Roger Ver. Some people might say, fuck him because he's a big blocker. And others call him a martyr, right? Like he is self-proclaimed Bitcoin Jesus. But he is on the receiving end of a heavy-handed IRS ruling because of what the U.S. called criminal tax fraud charges. And he had to fork up $48 million to pay off these fines. $48 million. Think about the type of scratch you got to have handy just to pay off a settlement like that. And he did it. I'd have to sell my car 48 million times to pay this. But I digress. Why did he have to pay this $48 million? It's from alleged mail fraud, tax evasion, as well as filing false tax returns. How did this happen? Back in 2014, he renounced his U.S. citizenship and he left the U.S. for, I believe, St. Kitts. And the U.S. had, and still has, from what I understand, an exit tax requirement for people in this situation. So for people that are leaving the country, Canada even has one, by the way. You got to declare what you have and then just fucking pay it off. And Canada or United States is happy and go from there. Boomer saying I'm fucking the current Bitcoin Jesus. I'm not any of that, man. I'm just some Joe Blow over here. Anyways, back to Roger Ver. Fuck him. Paid off $48 million. US got their money. They're now happy. I'm sure they're going to put this $48 million to good use, right? Like, I kind of think more than anything, this story is probably going to be a way to spook people moving forward who do plan to leave the US or Canada, wherever, and they have to then fork out their money to Uncle Sam. That's what I think that this story is really. I understand Roger Ver, he didn't pay, but it became big news, and I'm sure that the government of the United States is very happy it became big news because, like I said, if this could spook a few people who thought they could leave without paying, and now they're going to just pay it, obviously the U.S. is going to be happy as a result. So, so if they could do this to Roger Ver, at least the idea is they could do it to anybody. Is that the truth or not? Who knows? Do what you want. If you're going to leave Canada, you're going to leave the United States, and you're not going to declare, it's up to you. If you are, it's up to you. You know what the laws are. Do what you got to do. But That's it. All right. Like I said, this is going to be an abbreviated episode. That's it for the Bitcoin side. I have a few stories on the rest of the news that I'm going to talk about, and I hope you enjoy that. So with that, stay tuned if you're on a video, if you're watching us, but on the audio, we'll be back tomorrow. So take care and don't run Bitcoin for core version 30. All right. So on to the rest of the news. And since I don't have a Hamilton versus Brampton Man topic today, I know people are fucking pissed off about that. I have nobody to talk to fucking talk about it. Joey, where the fuck are you? I know you're fucking watching football. Either way. So this is brought to you by 256heat.com. This is where you could buy a heater to heat up your home. Just plug it into your regular outlet. And from there, you could mine Bitcoin. What am I talking about? You're getting a unit that is essentially a Bitcoin miner that creates heat. So if you're going to be heating a unit of your home, a room, rooms, garage, and you name it, just buy one of these little devices, plug them in, point it to the pool, and you're going to earn sats on the daily. Pretty cool stuff. 256heat.com. Check them out. And don't forget, we sent you to them. So that way they know that we are the ones that sent you there. No Hamilton versus Brampton Man, Boomer. I'm sorry about that. I know I really wanted to do it, but I couldn't because I don't know. I didn't know how to incorporate it. I was gonna do a Surrey versus Brampton Man. I don't know who the fuck came up with that idea last week, but I was gonna do that. Give me a sec. I need a swig of water here. That's some fucking good water. Anyways, I was gonna do a Surrey versus Brampton Man. I couldn't do it. So. Anyways, President Trump, I'll be very quick on this one. 100% tariff on China. Said he was going to do it starting November 1st. Then, shortly thereafter, it looks like everything is good. We're not going to do it. What a fucking fake out that was. I think that a lot of people made bank on this move. People shorting markets, whatever market that was open at the time. Good for them. It just goes to show you how centralized this bullshit is. But what I do want to talk about really quick is the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent. And he came out. He said the U.S. Treasury is going to be helping out Argentina. How many people here think this is a good move? They're going to be buying $20 billion worth of Argentina pesos, direct buy. It's going to be a currency swap, essentially. The USD is going to be printed, exchanged for Argentina pesos, $20 billion worth of USD going one way, and the equivalent value of Argentina pesos going the other way. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good move by Scott and crew. Like, it's only been 2 years since the Argentina peso has been devalued. So, maybe they'll continue on this path. Or fuck, how many times this century has there been economic crises? Where the fuck it is in Argentina, right? It's countless, right? And they're fucking buying this. Why? I mean, this thing, the Argentina peso, I hope it's not plastic because this thing might turn out to be toilet paper one day, and you might as well wipe your ass with paper rather than plastic because that'd be a fucking mess. I know the United States, they want/need a strong ally in South America. I get it. But come on, like, look at all the stuff that's going on in the United States. You have people that are not working. The economy is not going in the right direction. Bridges crumbling, roads crumbling. Airports are outdated compared to, say, Chinese airports. Like, there's so much shit out there that you could improve on with that $20 billion. But they're sending this money over there as a way to keep them in a decent spot. They have Milei was elected. When he was first elected, don't forget all the people in the Bitcoin community were there's a number of people within the Bitcoin community that were so happy. Oh yeah, this guy, he's going to do good. Maybe tie in something in Bitcoin. Haven't heard a fucking thing. Don't forget Milei, that rug pull situation with the shitcoin not too long ago. And the Canadian snow peso may be next. Is there going to be an exchange? Are they going to prop up the Canadian economy? I'd like to see that. We're still in a trade war, right? I don't know if we're at the stage that they're going to prop us up just yet. But look, the dude in charge over there in Argentina, Milei, like, why would you want to invest in the country? Like, I know they want to provide financial stability over there, but we're talking a country that they're almost out of foreign currency. They're desperate for US dollars or any other currency, that like euro or you name it. So they say that they're going to reverse this transaction at a later date. So United States will be sending back the pesos to Argentina for the US dollar. That's not going to fucking happen. The timing of this can't be overlooked. There is a midterm election that's going to be going in Argentina. It's coming up. So the United States, by doing this move, enables them to have the economy over there at least continue as it's doing right now. And they'll have a little bit of access to US dollars. So it gives them a little bit of a lifeline. They're really trying hard to make sure Milei stays there. It's almost like meddling in an election, right? Like, it's fucking bullshit. All right. I know there was a ceasefire between Hamas and Israel. Does anybody really care? Is anything's going to result from this? Are there still going to be fucking protests going on? The answer to the last question is yeah. And I can't believe like there was still protests going on, or at least some sort of gathering of people in support of Hamas or Palestine. There's a ceasefire that's been agreed upon. In fact, I believe there's going to be a signing of this in Egypt, and Mark Carney, our very own prime minister, is going to be there to. I don't know why he's going to be in attendance. He's been to Europe 5 times. He's been to DC twice. He's now going to Egypt. Remember, it's you that driving to work. You're the fucking problem, right? Oh, it happened earlier today, so it's all signed off. Even better. So it's you're the fucking problem for driving to work, right? Like you are polluting the environment. You are creating problems. You're causing the oceans to boil. You're causing catastrophic environmental. It's because you're driving. You're not for fucking flying out to Egypt or going to Europe 5 times or going to DC twice. Like, come on, man. Like, anyways, enough about that ceasefire bullshit. I know Canadian Tire franchise was fined $111,000 for violating the temporary foreign workers program. This is obviously not going to knock anybody over with a feather. There's been some shenanigans going on with the LMIAs and temporary foreign workers for some time. All the applications you see over there are for roughly the same dollar value, like $36 per hour. Why is that the magic number? I think we all know the reason why. So it's good to see at least there's some movement on this, but the one Canadian Tire franchise that now got their wrist slapped as a result, is going to change anything? Who the fuck cares? I like Boomer saying that Carney's going to ensure that the ceasefire documents are gender neutral. That's interesting stuff. In Egypt, they wouldn't take kindly to that type of. We'll just leave it at that. But it's just, yeah, this whole temporary foreign work, it just goes to show you like there's some inequality going on. There's some bullshit going on, and more inequality. And I just wanted to shine a light on it. And this makes my blood boil. It's a story, sorry. And it's been floating around that an Ontario cabinet minister, so somebody that's working under the Doug Ford government, they were assigned vehicles. And it was recorded for traveling at speeds classified as quote unquote stunt driving 12 times in the past 3 years, 12 times. And once was even recorded going 162 kilometers per hour in a 100 zone. So I don't know which minister this is, or if the car was driven by a staffer, but it looks like the reports are the premier's office forgave the driver who promised not to do it again. If this is the truth, this is fucking bullshit. Because if I were to drive, even you, ladies and gentlemen, anybody that's just a common guy or gal or whatever, you fucking drive and you go over 50 over and you are in a stunt driving situation, your car's impounded, your license suspended, no forgiveness, no fucking nothing. If this is fucking true, why is there this 2-tiered bullshit? This is like, you read this, and I don't know about you, but it fucking drives me bonkers to see this bullshit. And I hope that they get to the bottom of this. I want to know which minister it is. I'd love to know it. Who's behind it? Who's driving it? And let's fucking take these people out. And I mean, the proverbial tar and feather, right? Like, you obviously don't want to do that, but fuck, people should be made accountable for these. And Doug Ford's office, if they fucking did this, if they forgave the driver, how fucking bullshit is that? This is like Banana Republic level shit. Fuck, man. Anyways. All right, let's talk about Ukraine. Next time you hear a story about Ukraine, about Canada donating money, just remember this. I learned this past week. I found this to be fucking very, very interesting. Keep in mind, Canada's central bank owns exactly zero gold. Zero. The nominal value is zero. So Ukraine, on the other hand, their central bank, 27 metric tons of gold that they own. $3.6 billion as of today's value. They have that. I maybe stored in the London vault, but either way, they claim ownership to it. I guess not your vault, not your gold, but still they claim ownership to that. I don't know why they don't liquidate that, right? I mean, they have access. They have, right? Okay, look, take us another point of view. Say you're down on your luck. You have nothing. You go, you want to collect welfare. The one thing they're going to do, and they're going to be asking you what your net value is. So if you own a house, I don't think you're going to be able to collect welfare until you liquidate the house, because you have something. It doesn't make sense to get welfare when you have something of value. Makes fucking sense. So the same here. Why doesn't this apply to the Z-Man, right? Like, they should be told to, guys, you need something, fucking liquidate. When you have nothing, then we'll fucking donate. I don't know. I just look at that, and it's sad to see that they're sitting on 27 metric tons of gold. And that's a pittance compared to the Fort Knox, what they claim to have owned, what they claim to own. But still, Canada owns nil. Right? Like, that's bullshit. All right, let's talk about a few more stories. I got actually a few stories here on the notable news. I like these names for the Canadian dollar: the Moose Shekel, the Arctic Peso, Maple Bolivar. So much possibility for extraction. I like that. All right, this India guy, this guy from India here in Canada, and he was caught spying on women in his bathroom, and he was convicted of voyeurism in Ontario after admitting to secretly spying on women at the house he's living in using the bathroom in his home. And the judge's final sentencing acknowledged the severity of the crime, but he imposed a penalty in a manner that would avoid triggering mandatory deportation or other severe immigration consequences for this man. The question is, what's the priorities of the justice system? To keep somebody here, or to give them whatever penalty is due or is just? So what comes first here? Is it actual justice or trying to keep people here? This guy's name is Aswin, I don't know, Sajavan, whatever. He's an Indian citizen. He's here in a student visa. Sorry. This is awesome, by the way. Living in Barrie with 11 other people, 12 fucking people living in the same house. That's a fucking slum lord. Gotta give that guy fucking credit. That guy's he's really squeezing every fucking drop of juice from that lemon. So he was spying on his female housemates through a peephole as they used the bathroom, and made video recordings of 4 of them in quote unquote various stages of undress. And he did this over a period of 6 months. And he was caught crouched down in the laundry room with the lights off, peering through a peephole in the wall of the bathroom. This was the decision. He said that women were of they're naked, using the facilities at the time. So he did this shit. He's obviously guilty. Still, because of the fact it's going to a sentence that would be, I guess, bestowed upon you or I, it would impact his immigration. So they had to lessen. What the fuck? What the fuck? This is what we come to. This is what we come to. And I got a beauty of a second story, by the way. Manitoba, an Ontario truck driver, deadly crash, took the lives of 2 people, a 36-year-old mother and her 8-year-old daughter. This guy blew through the stop sign, and he was going at a high rate of speed, hit the SUV that the mother and daughter were in, and they say the collision analysis conducted a quote-unquote football kick the car over 53 meters. It moved, man. And the RCMP issued a Canada-wide arrest, and yeah, you know what? The guy, before they did, he was obviously caught at the site, at the accident. The judge granted him bail. He said that there was a horrific event, and the man faced potential lengthy term of imprisonment. And he said that they released him on conditions such as surrendering his passport and driver's license, and would maintain public confidence in the administration of justice. Well, he fled the country. But then, incredibly enough, he came back. He came back on an Ethiopian flight. I don't know why he came back. For 9 months, he was fleeing. Came back, and he then again given bail. Like, what the fuck, man? This is what we come to. It's Ontario. This is Ontario man versus Manitoba man. That's what we're doing today. Ontario versus Manitoba man. But that's incredible. Anyways. All right. Got 2 more stories before I wrap this up. I should have put this in the first half of the show because this has kind of a Bitcoin tie-in. Kinda. Not much. But this wealth lady, she lost a great deal of savings because of a fake Doug Ford cryptocurrency scam. And the scam involved this lady. She lost 90,000 USD because there was an investment fraud that she fell victim to. The scam began with a social media ad that falsely claimed that Premier Doug Ford was launching a new cryptocurrency intended to help Canadians. And believing the ad was legitimate, she made an initial investment, $350, and then she contacted the people that were representing the investment firm, and they encouraged her to invest more. And so she did. And she did to the tune of 90,000 US. And every time she was contacting the scammers, she was told she'd have to pay some money, more money. She did that, and eventually it was all gone. Like, what the fuck? Like, how? Like, number one, she had 90K liquid like that. Like, obviously she had means, but it goes to show you, having money and having brains, there's a disconnect sometimes between. And you're right, Paulie, those people do deserve to get fucking run. And this person did. I can't believe what type of idiot is going to believe Doug Ford is going to create a cryptocurrency, and one that's going to be specifically to try to help people out. Anyways, that's what happened here. If you're going to get a call from a fake Doug Ford representative talking about an investment opportunity, don't give them your Bitcoin. Give them fucking nothing. Hang up the phone or tell them to call back later when you have to get your duck cleans. Last story I have to talk about is the federal NDP. And we have a candidate out there that Avi Lewis. And the idea from Avi is wants to set up public grocery stores in Canada. Right? We heard about this in Chicago. I believe they're doing that in certain areas of Chicago, as there's the commercial businesses, they can't set up shop. They continually get robbed. They continually have to pay out higher and higher insurance. So they just shut it down. There's a vacuum over there that's not being serviced. So Chicago decided to step up to the plate and did these public grocery stores. This guy wants to do the same thing over here, and to deal with overpriced food, what he's saying, and greedy corporations that can line the food is coming from a lot of the same suppliers, right? Like, there's not much that you could really shave off here. You can maybe a little bit, but the reality is food has gone up quite a bit over the past little while, and it's not because of greedy corporations. It's the result of the Canadian dollar and other currencies out there losing their valuation, losing the value of it. And if you're going to flood the market with Canadian dollars, if you're going to flood the market with US dollars, you're going to have the same amount or more, you're going to have more fucking currency chasing the same good. So setting up a public grocery store will do absolutely nothing to solve the fucking problem. The root of the problem is increasing the money supply. And until you solve that, this is you're just like a dog chasing its own tail. You're not going to be able to get anywhere with it. So, like, good luck. The federal NDP, for people that aren't, I think everybody's aware that watches our show that it's Canadian, they don't even have official party status. They have a fucking a huge hill to fucking climb to become relevant again. Jagmeet Singh he did what he did, and the party is now in the situation it's in. Will they get official party status after next election? Who knows? To be honest, I really don't give a fuck, and it is what it is. Yeah. Just like the speed cameras, I agree. In Canada, sorry, in a lot of places in like Toronto and Vaughan, I think believe stopped it. Toronto, they're cutting them down at an alarming rate. These speed cameras, to the point I don't think they're putting any new ones up. People are pissed off about this stuff, and whatever. It is what it is, and that's it. 50 minutes. You listen to me ramble on. Actually, there was a couple of minutes of Joey over there talking about the Bitcoin conference, Canadian Bitcoin conference, and EasyDNS. I hope you enjoyed this episode. So I'll be back at this on Monday. Tag team next week. It's not going to be me doing singles action. So with that, take care. Don't invest in a Doug Ford crypto. And we'll be back later. Take care.